Welcome back to Flow Fanatic. Today's day number 9 of 25. We are on a 25-day journey solving 25 different Salesforce problems with flows. Yesterday's challenge was around mass transferring cases and contacts through the user experience, something that's not currently available out of the box. But before we get started, a quick reminder to sign up for our daily challenges and subscribe to our YouTube channel in the first comment below. We'll go ahead and dive in right now. All right, so we're going to come into Salesforce and just really quickly at a high level, Salesforce allows us to mass transfer accounts and number of other records. But unfortunately, we don't have the ability to do this for opportunities, for cases, and contacts. And last week's challenge was around mass transferring opportunities. Yesterday's challenge is a little bit different in that now we're doing two different objects. We're doing contacts and cases, but we're also combining that into one screen flow. And you can go ahead and build on top of this. You can have 10 different objects that you want to be included in a single screen flow. We're going to go ahead and dive in right now and walk through solving this challenge. So we're going to come into Salesforce, and like normal, we're going to go ahead and click on the gear icon and setup. We're going to come into the quick find box and type in flow. We're going to select flows. We'll select new flow. We're going to start by selecting screen flow. We'll click next, we'll click auto layout. All right. So the first flow element that we're going to want is we're going to want to display the different object selections that they can choose from. So in this case, it's going to be case and contacts. So we're going to go ahead and click on this plus icon. We'll click on screen. And we can call this screen element select users, or sorry, select object screen. All right, so my next step is I'm going to come over here, I'm going to look for a radio button. I'm going to go ahead and drag the radio button input onto the screen. I'm going to call this select object. I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and I want to now give the radio button a couple different options or a couple different choices. So I'm going to come into here, I'm going to click on new resource, I'm going to create my first choice. I'm going to call this choice case. Copy this into the description, the label. For data type, I'll select text, and then the choice value, I will select case. Click done. I'm going to go ahead and add one more choice in here. Again, new resource, choice, and I'll call this contact. Text, choice value, contact. All right, great. And I'll go ahead and just really quickly hide this header. And I'm going to go ahead and display a header. I'm going to come over to search components. I'm going to type in display text. Come up here, call this display text. I'm going to say mass transfer. Go ahead and bold that. All right, actually, I'm going to make this just a little bigger. All right, I'll go ahead and click done. All right, so the next step is selecting which user I'm going to be transferring this case or this contact from. So I'm going to go ahead and create another screen. In theory, if you wanted to, you could do them as part of the same screen element, but we'll do it as separate. All right, so I'm going to call this select user screen. And I'm going to hide the header. Go ahead and do this as two pick lists. The first one I'll label current owner. Second one I'll label new owner. And then I need to specify what choices or what options do they have. So I'm going to come in and create a new resource. Go here. I'm going to select record choice set. I'm going to select user right here. Or maybe I'll call this active users. Under objects, I'm going to look for the user object. Go ahead and select user. And then I'm going to go ahead and specify, OK, let's just show active users. I'm going to go ahead and sort this by first name. For the choice label, I'll do the name, data type of text, and I'm going to store the ID of the user whenever that specific choice is selected. Go ahead and click done. Now I can reuse that choice right here. So I'll select active users and I'll click done. All right, so now the fun part. So how do we have this single screen flow handle two different objects? Well, we have the user select. Is it a case or is it a contact that we're looking to mass transfer? So we can now add in a decision element. And the decision element is basically going to decide what path do I take. So we will call this object type. And for the label, I'm going to go ahead and call the first one case true. Here, select object, and I'll say if this is equal to case, we're going to take this path. We're going to do one more outcome order, or one more outcome, and we're going to call this contact. Now, in theory, we don't need this. If we only have 2 outcomes, we could remove the second outcome, but by adding in the second outcome, this will more easily allow us to add in future outcomes, right? So if we want to do this for cases, for contacts, for opportunities, or for other objects, it just makes it a little cleaner, a little more organized, and a little easier to follow along. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to say, okay, if they select contact, we're going to go down this path. All right, great. So the final step is we've specified what object, we'd specify who the original user is or who the original owner is and who we're going to be transferring those records to. And now we need to specify the update element. All right, so now the final step is we want to go ahead and add in 2 update elements. So we want to go ahead and push an update into Salesforce related to all of these changes for either cases or for contacts. So we're going to come over here, we're going to click on plus icon, I'm going to click on the update records element, and I'm going to call this update cases. I'm going to specify conditions. I'm going to say, hey, Salesforce, go ahead and update all cases where the owner ID, current owner ID, is equal to the current owner, and then set the ID field equal to the new owner. So now we're going to do a very similar thing for contacts. I'm going to come over here and click the plus icon. I'll scroll down to the update records element, and I'm going to call this update contacts. Specify conditions to identify. All right, we want to update contact records. We want to update any contact whose user, whose owner, is equal to current owner. And we want to update the ID fields to the new owner. Go ahead and click done. Click save. We're going to call this mass transfer tool screen flow. I'm going to go ahead and activate this. All right, so now the final step is let's add this onto the home page. I'm going to come back into Salesforce. I'm going to open my sales app. Go ahead and click on the gear icon, click on edit page. I'm going to look for a flow component. I'll add that right over here. And I'm going to look for mass transfer tool screen flow, click save, click the back button. All right, great. So before I run through an example of this, let's just pull up our contacts and cases really quickly. All right, so we can see right now, Alex is the owner of the contacts. And again, Alex is the owner of the cases. We're going to say, all right, let's go ahead and transfer all the cases. We're going to transfer them from Alex to Bob Schwartz. Great. And then let's do the same thing for contacts. Let's transfer all the contacts from Alex to Bob Schwartz. Great. So just to confirm it worked, let's go and click on the contacts. Now Bob Schwartz is the owner. And let's go ahead and click on all the cases or the recently viewed cases, and Bob Schwartz is now the owner. All right, that's it for today. I will be releasing today's challenge in just a few minutes.